What is up, everybody? Long time no see. I just recognized, or just realized, I should say, that I didn't press the right button when I put this thumbnail up. So sorry for the short notice if you guys are just coming in late, you're just now seeing. But this is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are here just to real quick talk a little bit of United news this afternoon while I had some time, but also realize that the FA Cup fifth round draw was coming up right around this time. So I thought maybe why not just do it right now while I had a little bit of time, and we can all react to the draw together as Manchester United learns its opponents for the next round of the FA Cup. We've got a lot of teams in the pot. We are ball number one, so it shouldn't be too long before we do it. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Just going to go through a little bit of transfer news as we wait for this. I think we've got about 5 minutes or so before we get kickoff. So Manchester United could be set to maybe bring in a new director of football. Now, we've been linked with a couple of guys over the last several months, obviously since Dan Ashworth was sacked, including Atletico Madrid's director of football. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but coming from Madrid-based journalist Diego Plaza Casal, we are reportedly interested in Athletic Bilbao sporting director Mikel Gonzalez as a replacement for Dan Ashworth. Now, Gonzalez just joined Athletic Bilbao not that long ago. It was like a couple years ago, 2022. But his job there, according to the press release at the time, was really to oversee the club's both their men's and women's teams, but also responsible for implementing what Bilbao were trying to do in terms of a strategic plan. That had to include first teams, and then they had something called the Lizama and the external project. Basically, part of his job there as well was also to maintain this clear focus on sustainability and then long-term planning in terms of structure, club, team building, all that stuff. He was in charge of squad planning. Obviously, this is what a director of football does, but squad planning, loan deals, the incorporation of players and coaches at all age levels. So just, again, this is what a director of football does, a sporting director. They oversee all these aspects of the club. Now, before that, he was actually the assistant sporting director at Deportivo Alaves. Now, a lot of United fans will recognize that name because that's where Facundo Palestri was on loan for a little while. Usman's in the chat. Good to see you, Usman. How are you, my friend? Just jumping in for a fun little thing today as we wait for the fifth round draw. So, again, teams in the pot right now. Number one, Manchester United. Number two, we have Millwall, Brighton, Preston North End. And then there's Exeter City or Nottingham Forest, Ipswich Town, Wolves, Fulham, Newcastle, Plymouth Argyle, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Burnley, Manchester City, Doncaster Rovers, or Crystal Palace, and then Cardiff City. So 16 balls in that order. We are ball number one. We are just waiting for the draw right now. We are chatting a little bit about our reported interest in a new director of football. So draw will take place in a couple minutes. So Gonzalez, again, he was at Deportivo Alaves before he was at Athletic Bilbao. Now, anyone who knows anything about Athletic Bilbao knows that they are all about bringing in players from that region of Spain, of that area, that Basque region. They want to build that community. They want young kids in the community to look up to young, locally grown, developed talent, and they want to maintain that and make that region a football hub and a source of growth. There's a really good chapter of it in this book behind me, Edge, by Ben Littleton. But again, at Alaves, he was the head of the youth academy. And so, again, what this tells you, the guy is really involved with building long-term plans, working with young players, helping them development-wise. He worked with NK Istra, which is a Croatian club that is owned by Deportivo Alaves as well. And there, he was also in charge of increasing player value and then building, again, very young squads. He knows what it takes to work with young players with limited financial strength to build squads that can challenge and sustain. It's all about sustainability. Now, that sounds familiar because that's kind of like what we need to be looking at. Because the way we've done things at United for the last almost 2 decades, really, under the Glazer ownership and whatnot, has not been sustainable. We're seeing the aftermath of that now because of PSR, buying players too high, paying them too much, not selling them for enough, not taking care of stadiums and whatnot. This is not sustainable. So basically, what he is in charge of when he was at the Croatian club, again, increasing player value and building very young squads. So again, getting the most you can when it's time to move a player on, and then working with the young players to really build something for the future, which also means talent identification, working hand in hand with the managers and whatnot. Basically, building young squads, planning the professional development of young players, helping academy players make the jump to the first team, and overseeing loans and maximizing transfer value for players that are up for sale. This is basically what we're hoping to get. So if you guys just are joining us, we were talking a little bit about Mikel Gonzalez, the Athletic Bilbao director of football that United are reportedly targeting, and this is coming from journalist Diego Plaza Catzals, who is a Madrid-based journalist. Just going through a little bit of a deep dive into what this guy is all about, what he's done, and what he's known for. He is very young, but this is what he does at this club. How's everyone doing today? I know it's been a little while, right? It's not that long. We were just talking this morning. Still waiting on this draw here. We're trying to see how it's going here. The stream is just should be starting any second now. Okay, looks like we are getting the draw here. So as we wait on that, we are going to chat a little bit about some other transfer news. Right now, they're just going through some highlights from the FA Cup. So if you guys get involved in the chat, who do you want out of the 16 teams that are in it right now? We just listed a couple. We still got a couple matches left to play. We've got Exeter versus Crystal Palace today, or maybe that's tomorrow. Which one is today? Yeah, it's Exeter or Forest. They play tomorrow, and then today it's Doncaster versus Crystal Palace. So we could see either of those get in here, but we do have one in here. I'm going to turn on my closed caption so I can read what these folks are saying here. Oh, that's not cool. So the closed captioning is not available right now. So, but let me know in the chat, who would you like to draw? Who are you not hoping to get? Still got some strong teams in there, teams that have given us some problems right now. We got Teal Walcott, Alex Scott here with the balls in the bag, trying to let us know who we're going to get. Right now, we're showing some highlights and everything, as always. While they talk about that, I'm going to talk about a little bit more transfer news, because that is what we are due here. So as you can tell by the thumbnail, Manchester United are also determined not to lose out on Sunderland attacking midfielder Chris Rigg. Our scouts reportedly consider him a must-have target for United coming this summer. This is coming from Graham Bailey via United in Focus. We've been linked to Chris Rigg for a little while. There was a report that came out over the weekend, I think, that claimed that we consider him pretty much to be the best championship prospect since Jude Bellingham. Remember, Jude Bellingham came from Birmingham. We had invited him to the club. He walked around. Fergie, Sir Alex met with him, and then Sir Alex was basically ushered away while the people in charge of the Murtaughs, the Woodwards and whatnot, spoke. Kind of ruined that a little bit. So we could have had Jude Bellingham, but we do consider him a must-have. We do consider him reportedly the best prospect to come out of the championship since Jude Bellingham. Sounds like we don't want to let another one of these young, exciting midfielders slip through our fingers. Sounds like maybe we could see Chris Rigg at Old Trafford if reports are to be believed. I want us to go get Hayden Hackney while we're at it. I think he's another one from the championship that is really, really good. We saw this with Victor Gyökeres as well, who was doing bits at Coventry before making the jump to Sporting. I would have loved for us to look at him when he was still at Coventry, but it wasn't meant to be. But what do you guys think of Chris Rigg? Is he a player you'd like to sign? I think he could be excellent as a rotation option to start in one of those 10 roles. I think that he's obviously still very young. He's still a teenager, I believe. What is he, 18, 19? But obviously very exciting this year. He and Job Bellingham, who is Jude's younger brother, are probably Sunderland's two best players. They've got a couple of good players there, but Job plays very differently to his brother. He's wants to drop deep, wants to pick up the ball, wants to start the attack, wants to drop deep, get his head up, and really just get involved anywhere he can over the pitch. Similar to Ederson at Atalanta. So we're looking at the ball numbers right now. These are the numbers that they've selected, and obviously we are number one, and then it goes 1, 3, 5, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15. So us, Brighton, Exeter or Forest, Newcastle, Plymouth, Villa, City, and then Doncaster or Crystal Palace are the ones we're looking at right now. Um, this is interesting. We've got a lot of aspect. You guys, again, let me know who you are interested in avoiding. Let me know who you would like to get in this, because we're gonna do a live reaction as this happens, and then I'll let you guys get back to it. So we're waiting to see. We're shaking up the bag right now. We're throwing the balls in the mixer. Let's see. But let me know what you guys think about Chris Rigg as well. Usman, if you're watching, let me know what you think about Rigg. Who you like to. So Walkout's reaching in. He's pulling it out. What we got here? Number 4. So and that is coming up here. So Preston have been drawn, and Preston have got Burnley. So it's Preston North End versus Burnley so far. We got number 12. So Aston Villa have been pulled, and they get Cardiff. Aston Villa get Cardiff. This is exciting. Who's next? 15, Doncaster or Crystal Palace. So they play today, a little later on. And who do they get? They get Millwall. So Doncaster or Palace are going to be facing them off Millwall. If we get City, I'm going to be annoyed. What do we got here? Who's next? United. Okay, United have just been pulled. Who are we going to get? This is it right now. And we get Fulham. United have drawn Fulham in the 5th round of the FA Cup. What do we have next here? Number 9, Newcastle. So who did Newcastle get? Newcastle gets Brighton. That's going to be a good match. Definitely be watching that one. But if you guys are just joining us, United have drawn Fulham in the next round of the FA Cup. They're finishing up the rounds right now, the draw. So right now, Bournemouth just got pulled. Bournemouth, who are they going to play? Bournemouth have Wolves. So Bournemouth, Wolves. A couple of good Premier League clashes here. 14, City. City, please give them Forest. That would be great. They get Plymouth. Okay, so City get Plymouth. Surprise, surprise. So we get Fulham, City get Plymouth. So now it's going to be Ipswich versus either Exeter or Nottingham Forest. So if you're just joining us, United have drawn Fulham in the next round of the FA Cup. And so not the most ideal draws, not the worst, but we'll see. City have drawn Plymouth because why not? So interesting. You guys happy with that draw? Are you worried about that draw facing Fulham again? They did just we did just manage this little something, but I think that we never like facing off against these sides. Exactly the kind of side that's going to cause problems for us. So these ties are all going to be played the first week of March, and we are at home to Fulham. So big deal, big draw. It's really us or City. It's interesting. So Brighton and Newcastle, that'll be interesting. Bournemouth, Wolves will be interesting too. I think that one's a big one. Rob, welcome back. How are you, Rob? Tricky one for us. It is a tricky one. It's definitely not one that I'm super confident in. So I think it's never a good look when you're struggling against Southampton, who are bottom of the league, when you struggle against Leicester, who are also relegation fodder, and you're scraping by these wins. And then you get another team who exactly the kind of team that is going to cause us a lot of problems. But let me know. Dylan, chilling with Dylan, just texted me, says he knew we'd get Fulham. Yeah, it's not the most ideal draw, if I have to admit. I think I would have preferred to get someone like a Millwall or a Plymouth personally, but we did just beat Fulham 1-0, so it's not. And yeah, like Rob says, City get another easy one. Yeah, of course they do, because it's City. Rich, welcome back. Rich, Fulham could be worse. It could be worse. I think if I had to choose between the Premier League opposition, I probably would have chosen, Fulham or Ipswich maybe. But honestly, I don't back us going into any any match these days to get a result. They really don't. And we probably, I mean, if Ipswich just beat Liverpool, I mean, I'm not too surprised if we, or not Ipswich, Plymouth. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something else. Rich says City get minnows, nothing to see here. City usually do get minnows. I feel like it's going to be one of those like Manchester finals again. Rayon says hope he and the team figured out by that time rolls around. Yeah, it's a couple weeks away, right? About 3 weeks now. It'll be March 1st. So interesting. So if you're just joining us, we did just kind of react to the FA Cup fifth round draw live. It's as follows. I'll read it out to you. So Preston are facing off against Burnley. Aston Villa get Cardiff. It's going to be either Doncaster Rovers or Crystal Palace versus Millwall. United have drawn Fulham, and that's at home. Newcastle versus Brighton. Bournemouth versus Wolves. City get Plymouth Argyle, so they get, David versus Goliath story as is their MO. And then it's going to be either Exeter or Forest versus Ipswich Town. So it's going to be freaking interesting. Rob says, be mad if Plymouth win after stopping Liverpool's quadruple. I mean, everybody stops Liverpool's quadruple. Have Liverpool ever really seriously been in for a quadruple? No. Let's see. I'm going to go through the rest of my news here. So if you're just joining us, we just did the draw live. And I just read that out. Rayon says, if it's us against City again, people might say it's rigged 3 years in a row. Well, the draw is what they can complain about. But, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's just, we've gotten, I think in the last couple of years, I can count on maybe one hand the number of, like, non-Premier League opposition that we've drawn. City seem to get it every single round. Really, really annoying. Rob says, hoping Cardiff go through, but that's a tough draw. I mean, this is what we love about the domestic cups, right? It's anyone's game, really. We just saw Plymouth knock out Liverpool. Chelsea got knocked out as well. Arsenal, we knocked out Arsenal. Spurs are done, so could be worse, but I'll take it. But we are just finishing up here a little bit of the news. I wasn't planning on going live today, but then I literally just saw that it was the draw and was like, oh, let's jump on that. We talked through a little bit of the director of football that we're linked to, so you guys can watch that again. Talked a little bit about Chris Rigg because Graham Billy has reiterated our interest in Chris Rigg at Sunderland, says he is a must-have for this summer. And then closing out, we have a injury update. So in the build-up to our FA Cup clash against Leicester, I think a lot of us either predicted or wanted Altay Bayındır to start that match. He's kind of been our cup keeper, and he's, after a shaky start to his United career, he's actually delivered. Obviously, he came up as a hero against Arsenal, saving both a penalty in regular time, but also a penalty in the shootout. And I'd say he was arguably man of the match, right? Honestly, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of fans would mind if he was our starting keeper at the moment, the way things are going. But he ended up missing out on the Leicester match with a bit of a knock. It has been reported today, though, that the issue was minor. He'll be back soon, probably back in the matchday squad for the next match. United District claim, though, that Bayındır still wants to leave United this summer and prefers to return to Turkey. Now, Galatasaray have been linked with interest in him recently. I mean, it may sound rash, but honestly, if a Saudi club came in for Andre Onana, made a decent offer, I'd be fine with sticking with Bayındır and Vitek heading into next season and kind of giving each of them the season to work it out, basically, and then sticking whoever earns that number one spot between the sticks. That's just me, though. I like Vitek. I wish we would have kept Kovar. Bayındır, to me, just looks dependable. I'm not going to say he's class. I don't think there's any one thing that he just excels at personally, but in terms of him in sticks and Onana in the sticks, I do feel a little more confident with Bayındır just based on recent form alone, because Onana just doesn't fill me with confidence because he never looks like he has any confidence. So yeah, if a Saudi club came in for Onana, anything over like 25, 30 million, take it and run. How are you guys feeling about that draw, though? How's everybody doing? So we did get Fulham in the next round. That'll be going on in a couple weeks. A lot of interesting draws in there. Again, Brighton, Newcastle will be fun to watch. That Wolves Bournemouth is going to be fun to watch as well. And then City get Plymouth. And then there's a couple other matches in there. Obviously, we have another match to watch later on today. Let me just check any of the latest and greatest news. Rayhan says, I like Vitek as well. Have him in my FC24 squad. Yeah, he is a really good keeper. He's doing bits over in the Austrian league. He's like the third or whatever rated player in the league right now, and I don't mean third-rated goalkeeper. I mean third-rated player of the entire league. His save percentage, his average saves per game are like second to none. He's doing very, 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 very well. I would like for us to keep him. There are rumors that he wants to leave. He's like 21, 22 now. He's younger than De Gea. He's about that same age De Gea was, maybe a little older when we signed De Gea permanently. I think he's ready. I think that he may not be the ball playing keeper like an Ederson or whatever, but he commands his area. He has really good reflexes. He claims a lot of crosses. He could improve his distribution, yes, but I don't care about that. I want you to save shots, and I want you to command your area. And VTech does that very well. He was very good for us in preseason when we played against Rosenborg and won. Rich says, I wanted Plymouth, but I guess only City get the lower league ties this season. Yeah, or Liverpool. But what are you going to do? Let me see if we have any fun news before I let you guys get going. Like I said, it was going to be a real quick news update today. We just talked about this director of football that we've been linked with at Athletic Bilbao, Chris Rigg interest, and then Bayern updates. But we did get Fulham, as you guys know. So Rob says practice for when they get relegated. Yeah, I mean practice for us too. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But you guys let me know. Are you happy with that draw? Are you excited that we're looking at different director of footballs? We've been linked to a few. Again, this could just be lip service, but it sounds like we do need somebody to come in and take that director of football role. What do you think about Chris Rigg? Do you like Chris Rigg? Do you watch any of the championship? I've watched a lot of the championship. Honestly, like where I used to go from watching a lot of like the Eredivisie, the Bundesliga. Now I'm watching a lot more championship matches, mostly because of guys like Rigg, guys like Hayden Hackney at Middlesbrough as well. Like there's a lot of really good players in the championship that I think people should not be sleeping on. But we'll see. Binder could be coming back soon. Sounds like he's not too injured. Jay says, is he a CDM? Who? Chris Rigg? Chris Rigg is an attacking midfielder. Hayden Hackney is a CDM. He's a deep line kind of playmaker who I really like. But Chris Rigg is who we've been linked with again. He is a attacking midfielder, so he could come in and do a job. He's still pretty young, but we consider him reportedly a must-have. We've considered him basically one of the better championship prospects, probably the best one to come out of the championship since Jude Bellingham. He is very, very good. Doesn't sound like United want to miss out on another championship prospect. So interesting stuff. I'm going to leave it there, though, and let you guys get back to your day. Thank you guys for stopping by as we reacted to this fifth round FA Cup draw. Let me know your thoughts on the draw. Are you happy that we're going to get Fulham? Is there somebody else you would have preferred? Is there somebody that you're happy we avoided? A lot of good rounds in there. There is a game today later on, Palace versus Doncaster Rovers, so that'll be interesting. Now, I think Ethan Ennis did join Doncaster Rovers on loan. I did not see if he's in the matchday squad, though. Let me go check that real quick while we're live, because that would be fun to maybe go see how Ethan Ennis gives you guys a chance. For those of you who haven't watched a whole lot of him, that kicks off in about 15 minutes. Ennis, he is starting. So if you guys do want to go watch Ethan Ennis, one of our loanees, one of our youngsters who is really on the cusp of breaking into the first team. He is starting for Doncaster against Palace in about 15 minutes. So go give that a watch. Jay says, all right, thanks. Good stream. Yeah, Jay, thank you for stopping by. Short stream, but kind of action-packed here. I just wanted to make sure I jumped on live to get everybody's live reactions to the FA Cup fifth round draw. Go watch Doncaster versus Palace. It kicks off 15 minutes. You guys want to go watch one of our youngsters, Ethan Ennis. Let me know what you think about the draw, what you think about the news. Please hit that like button on your way out. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new, as we're on the road to 3K. Thank you guys for stopping by. I will see you guys on the next one. Later.